You're listening to the Greeks Gridiron, live with Ethan Haristadoulou.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Greeks Gridiron. I am Ethan Haristadoulou. It is September 14th, 2021, and today we are doing our Week 2 Power Rankings, coming off of an absolutely wild Week 1, and honestly, a wild Monday Night Football game to cap off what was a crazy weekend altogether. Underdogs galore, upsetting left and right. Teams that were not expected to win or shouldn't have been even close to a win came out and just mollywopped some of the teams they were going up against. I cannot believe some of the games that we saw going through Week 1. There was so much action, and it was just great to have football back and sit around all Sunday watching all these games go down. Man, I mean, not much to say other than I guess we're going to have to rank all 32 teams, huh? So, without further ado, if you have not already, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the channel, it really helps me out, and I greatly appreciate it. But if you're looking here on the screen now, you have my list of 32. We're about to rank them, starting off with teams 32 through 21. So, without further ado, definitely not going to keep you guys waiting. We got ourselves coming in at the 32 and 31 spot, the Jaguars and the Lions. Jaguars at 32, Lions at 31, for those of you that are just listening and not able to see what I got here. The Jaguars fell to the Texans, and it just seems to me that there is a lot of problems over there. And if you lose to the worst team, in my opinion, you will then become the worst team. So sitting at 32, the Lions, they were pretty much handled for the majority of their game against the 49ers. I can't really say that they need to be put up because they kind of came back on them late in the game. I think that's more so on the 49ers defense just kind of easing up because they had such a comfortable lead. So have them sitting there at 31. Now, going 30 through 21, the Jets. I got them sitting here at number 30. Tough loss they took against Sam Darnold coming back with his revenge game there. It seems like the Jets have a lot to work on, in my opinion. You know, Zach Wilson, they looked fine. But the defense didn't do too much. The offense didn't do too much. A lot to be desired from the Jets there. Texans, big surprise in my opinion. Big surprise. They did an awesome job going up against the Jaguars there, and I think shocked a lot of people. I did not expect them to come out with a win Week 1. I thought Trevor Lawrence might have, a really surprisingly good game, which he did. 3 touchdowns, but he also had 3 picks, but he also had 300 yards. But he only completed 50% of his throws. So shout out to the Texans defense for giving the rookie some problems. And David Culley for, rallying the troops and really just shutting up everybody, myself included. I did not have them pegged to win this game at all. I did not think it was going to even be close. I thought the Jaguars were a little bit more of a better team coming into this one. So I was surprised with that result there. But the Texans got them put up to 29. They rise 3 spots on the list. Next up is the Falcons, who kind of a free fall here. I had them sitting at 24 before, so they dropped 4 spots. I mean, they got absolutely wiped off the map by the Eagles, who just dunked on them 33-6. The Falcons have a lot they need to work on. New head coach, and there's I don't know if it's the system, if it's the players, what it is. A lot of people saying Matt Ryan looked like a stone in the pocket. A lot of things not looking good for Atlanta right now. The Chicago Bears are sitting at number 27. Again, a lot to be desired. I cannot believe that Andy Dalton is the starting quarterback at this point after seeing him play and the energy that was going on when Justin Fields was on the field and when he scored that 5-yard touchdown pass. I mean, I don't know, man. I want to see Justin Fields start for the Chicago Bears. I know they're worried about the offensive line, which clearly has some issues, but you got to let the rookie play, man. I just don't see – it doesn't make any sense. You guys have a really good defense, but the defense can't help you if your offense is literally doing nothing all game and putting up only 14 points. Coming in at number 26, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. I do that all the time, and I don't know why. The Las Vegas Raiders, who came out with a massive upset over the Baltimore Ravens. I have them rising up on my list here. I have my Week 1 power rankings. I believe I had them sitting at 28. I moved them up a couple of spots just because I feel like the Ravens maybe came in and underestimated the Raiders a little bit in that game, and you'll see where I have the Ravens rank ranked based off that game as well a little bit later. But I'm a little bit surprised at the result of that game. Or not a little bit, I'm a lot of bit surprised about the result of that game. But, solid first week. I've been very critical of the Raiders, John Gruden and Mike Mayock. We'll have to see if they continue this. I need to see more from them, though. Granted, they beat a big team, the contender at that, but I need to see more from them before I just skyrocket them up this list and become a true believer in the Raiders. The Panthers at 25. I then have the Eagles at 24, the Vikings at 23, the Bengals at 22, and then the Giants at 21 to round out the other top 5 of this bottom 30 teams here. For the Panthers, did a good job. Sam Darnold came in, got his revenge win. Excited about that. They slide up a little bit on the board. The Eagles, four ranks going up here from 28 to 24 in my last week's power ranking. The Eagles, they did a great job. They handled the Falcons. I think that's the best way you could really put that. 33-6. Jalen Hurts looked good. The offense looked good. The defense looked good. Everything looked good about the Philadelphia Eagles, and it was great to see them, come out and silence a lot of doubters again, myself included. The Vikings, I have free falling on this list. They fell from 11 to 23. I'm a little bit concerned about that defense. And I'm concerned about the offense. They have so many weapons, and I know it was a tight one, but I just expected this to really be the Vikings game. I thought that they were going to come out and put 30-plus points up on the board and maybe keep the Bengals to around 14 to 17, maybe 20 points at most. So, I'm really surprised at the result of that game. One, it being as close as it was, and two, the Vikings really not performing to the standard I had set for them. I expect them to be contending in the NFC North, and I expect them to potentially be the number 1 team in the NFC North come year's end. So a little bit surprised they fell to the Bengals. The Bengals I have sliding up here. I think I had them, if I refer to my list from last week, I had the Bengals sitting at number 25, so they're rising 3 spots here. Excited for them. They looked really good. The defense looked solid. They shut down what I expected to be a very powerful offense coming into this year. And Joe Burrow looked good. He looked a little uncomfortable, those 3 snaps he got to play in the preseason, but I really feel like as the game progressed, he started to get more and more comfortable, so I'm happy for him. I'm excited to see what the Bengals can do. And then the Giants rounding out at 21. Tough loss. They got handled by the Broncos. The Broncos defense looked really good, and the Broncos offense looked really good. Teddy Bridgewater, I'm a fan. I love to see him be successful considering the just amount of bad luck he has had in his career. He looked great in that game from start to finish. This Broncos team, I think I've been saying it. They have the skill players and the defense to contend. It's just the quarterback situation has been a big question mark. And Teddy Bridgewater, through week 1, looks like he could potentially be the answer for this Broncos team. Now, for the next 10 teams, we're going to go 20 through 21. At 20, I have the Washington football team. At 19 is the Patriots. 18 is the Chargers. 17, the Broncos. 16, the Titans. 15, the Colts. 14, the Cowboys. 13, the 49ers. 12, the Dolphins. And 11, the Packers. Washington slips down 4 spots, because 1, they lost Ryan Fitzpatrick. 2, they lost the game. So this is going to be a tough few weeks. I'm not 100% sure how long Ryan Fitzpatrick is supposed to be out, but that is going to be a tough loss for them. Hopefully he gets back soon. We'll have to see how Taylor Heineke does with his opportunity that he has there. The defense, really good, but they struggled going up against this Chargers team. Justin Herbert looked damn good. I have the Chargers rising up about, I think, 3 or 4 spots this week, so they're sitting pretty at 18. The Patriots, I had slip a couple because they lost by 1. I'm really excited about what the Patriots can do. Their defense looked really good against the Miami Dolphins, who, in my opinion, are a playoff contender. They just missed the playoffs last year because every AFC team was 11-5 or better that made it. But I think the Patriots have a lot of potential. I think they made the right move going with Mac Jones. It looks like he fits the offensive scheme really well. A lot of fumbles that really cost the Patriots this game, but I expect a lot from this Patriots team as things continue and Mac Jones grows and gets more and more comfortable playing in an NFL-type game. Then at 17, the Broncos, the ones that took down the Giants, sitting at number 21. Very excited for the Broncos. The defense looked good. Like I said, Teddy Bridgewater, impressed with what he had going on there. The Titans and Colts, these are probably the biggest free fallers here going in this area of the power rankings. Both of them I had as top 10 teams. I believe I had the Colts sitting at number 10, and I had the Titans sitting at number 8. This is a tough one because Tennessee got whooped, and honestly, the Colts got pretty much whooped too. Tennessee, I'm so shocked at just how bad the defense looked, how lethargic the offense looked. I don't know what the heck happened, but I mean, it seemed like they could not run the ball. They could not move the football very well. I don't really know what to say about that. We'll have to see what they do in week 2, but I mean, you can't lose like that and not move significantly through the power rankings there because they got handled by the Cardinals. Same with the Colts, man. I mean, the first drive, the Colts looked really good, and then like that felt like that was it, and they kicked a couple of field goals after that and lost 28-16. There's not much to say about that. I don't know if I'm sold on the Carson Wentz experiment yet, so we'll just have to kind of continue and see. Cowboys at 14, very excited for them. The defense is honestly the biggest issue still, but this will be one of those things where I think we're going to need to wait a few weeks to really see what this defense is going to be. Dak Prescott looked phenomenal in his comeback. Honestly, you would have never known the injury happened if somebody didn't tell you about it. So good for the Cowboys. You know, despite the fact that they lost this game, I have them moving up in the power rankings because they looked so good against the Super Bowl champions, losing in such a tight game. So shout out to the Cowboys. 49ers at 13 handled the Lions as they should have. I think they moved up a couple of spots here. They were they were number 15 last week. I have them sitting at 13, so they move up a little bit. They handled the team that they should be beating, so you do go up for that. The Dolphins, 1-point winners. I don't really want to move them up too much here because I think the teams I have ahead of them are better. So I just kept them right at number 12. They did not move at all on the list here. I am excited to see where the Dolphins go under Tua. I'm glad that I'm glad they moved on from Fitzpatrick, not because I don't like Fitzpatrick, but because if you are all in on Tua, you need him starting, and you cannot just be pulling him out of the game to put somebody like Ryan Fitzpatrick in instead to handle games and things like that if you don't trust Tua. I think now is the time for you to really give Tua a go. He got a big win over the Patriots in week 1. Let's see where we go from there. The Packers now, they're sitting at number 11. This is a free-falling team as well. They were much higher up on the list. They were number 5 last week. Talk about a meltdown. That's all I really got to say about that. The only reason I have them at 11 and I don't have them any lower is because we've seen stuff like this happen to the Packers before, you know, the Aaron Rodgers relax thing, and then they go from there. So I need to see a few more weeks of this being this bad before I just say the Packers are done. I'm not going to go crazy and be like, the Packers are done. This is it. You know, only one weekend. I need to see some more of that if that's the case. I have a feeling that the Packers can bounce back unless the problems that they've been having in Green Bay only exasperate and get worse. Now, coming up next, we have 10 through 6, Buffalo Bills at 10. We have the Ravens at 9, the Saints at 8, the Steelers at 7, and the Seahawks at number 6. The Bills falling here. They were my number 3 team going into week 1. They dropped 7 spots because that offense is... the problem was exactly what I said it was going into this offseason and coming out of the offseason. They did not really do much to the offensive line, and the running game is non-existent. They went and tried to fix the pass rushing issues. It'll remain to be seen whether it has been fully fixed up or not, but I mean, that offensive line almost looks like it regressed. Josh Allen threw the football like 50 some odd times. They need to establish a run game for this team to really go the distance, and if they want to contend for the Super Bowl. I mean, they made it to the AFC Championship last year, but I don't see them doing that again if this running game does not improve, and that's the biggest issue for them. The Ravens are falling. I have them sitting from number 6 to number 9. They dropped 3 spots in a tight game with the Raiders last night. Fumbles were really the big issue for them, especially with Lamar Jackson, who he had a pretty good game minus the fumbles, 321 total yards. The defense did a pretty solid job. I don't know whether the defense was, I mean, there's so many injuries on this Ravens team, and I know it's next man up. I get it, but you know, despite that fact, they were in it to the end, and, you know, if there was 1 or 2 less fumbles from that offense, this is a completely different game, and the Ravens win. So I didn't want to drop them too far, but they do drop a little bit, very close to the bottom of the top 10. Then at number 8, the Saints, who shot up. I had them at 23 last week, to help you understand. They're the biggest riser in this one. You don't dominate an NFC finalist without moving all the way up the leaderboard here in week number 1. I have a lot of high hopes for the Saints. I think they're going to be great. I'm excited for Jameis Winston. 5 touchdowns and 48 yards or something, which is the first time that's ever happened in the league. Or 154. I forget what the number was exactly off the top of my head. But regardless, first time that's ever happened in the league. They looked great. I'm excited for them. Steelers at 7, the defense back to being the great defense that they were. They were number 3 last year, and it looks like this defense might even contend for the number 1 or 2 spot just based off how they stifled the Buffalo Bills' high-flying offense. The Seahawks then at number 6, you know, they're back doing they're a playoff team year in and year out. Pete Carroll keeps them competitive. They have Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett are such a great pairing at wide receiver. And I mean, the running game, Chris Carson, he looked mean. He was bullying the Colts defenders all game long. I'm excited to see where this team goes, but I expect them to firmly be in the playoff hunt like they have been pretty much every single year that Russell Wilson has been there and Pete Carroll has been his coach. Now, rounding out the top 5 through 1, at number 5, I have the Arizona Cardinals, who mollywopped the Titans. I could not believe that this is how this game went down. I'm excited for the Cardinals. I did pick them to really push for a playoff spot earlier in the year. We talked about them a lot. The addition of J.J. Watt and some other big pieces on offense as well. A.J. Green bringing a veteran presence there. I mean, Kyler Murray looked great. 4 touchdown passes. The dude was all over the football field, just slinging it like the gunslinger he is. I love Kyler Murray's style of play. I love him as a player. I think he's great, and I think the Cardinals are finally going to shine this year. They got the defense to back them up. They have the offense that they need. I think that the NFC West is going to be uber competitive, and the Cardinals are going to be one of the top 2 teams at least. That's what I'm thinking based off this Week 1 performance, whacking the Titans in that first game. The Browns I have at number 4. I don't believe they moved. Yeah, I had them at number 4 last week. The reason for that being more so because they were in it to the very end with the Chiefs. This is a game that I pegged the Browns to win. I expected it to be close, and it was either going to be the Browns won close or the Chiefs won close, and the Chiefs did what the Chiefs do with Patrick Mahomes doing what Pat Mahomes does, and, you know, Pat Mahomes does not lose in September, I guess. So, battled back from a 10-point deficit, and you know what? Despite the loss, the Browns are going to contend. Maybe you need a loss like this to keep you fueled for the entire season because people are going to constantly doubt you and be like, well, you can't beat Kansas City. Maybe they fuel that fire and it carries them through the playoffs into a rematch with these Chiefs because I would love to see them go at it again. That was a great game for 2 great teams. The LA Rams are sitting at number 3. Good luck trying to beat them. Matthew Stafford arrived. I told you so. 320 yards, 3 touchdown passes from him. He has been a great quarterback his whole career. It does not matter that he had Calvin Johnson for that, handful of years, 7 or so that Johnson actually played. It's a team sport. There are 20 other players on the field at all times when you're playing this game, and Matthew Stafford had Calvin Johnson in Detroit, and that was it. So before anyone sits there and says he had a Hall of Fame wide receiver, yeah, that was all he had, a Hall of Fame wide receiver, one player. I'm pretty sure that there are 22 starters on a football field and 53 men on a roster, and you don't just win like that. Coming in at number 2, Kansas City Chiefs. They looked great. They did what they do. They won again in September. And then at number 1, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who in a really tight game with the Dallas Cowboys, were able to find the win. They have the TB12 factor. I'm excited to continue to watch these top 5 teams because I think they're all going to be really good this year, and I expect them to sit up in the top at least 10 of this leaderboard throughout the entirety of the season, barring anything crazy happening. But that is my Power 32 rankings for the Week 2 season, or Week 2 of the NFL season, excuse me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Tell me what I got right, what I got wrong, and I'll catch you guys on Thursday for a Thursday night football game day preview. Have a good rest of your Tuesday, everybody. I'll see you later.